My English name is Julia Candlish. I was born Julia Londo. When I did my master's in public policy and administration, I really wanted to focus on, First Nations, for the rest of my career. And right out of university, I got this job as in the education unit here at the Chiefs of Ontario, and it's been a wonderful journey. I've been the director here for around 8 years, and it's very interesting because as the Chiefs of Ontario, we're not a governing body, anything like that. We coordinate and advocate on behalf of the 133 First Nation communities. Whatever it is that they want us to do related to education, that's what we do. If we don't have a mandate from the communities, we get our mandates through the Chiefs in Assembly. If we don't have a mandate, we don't do it. Very interesting, the mandates that come in, we have mandates to work in all areas of education, K-12 education in both the provincial system and the federal system. So on reserve, we have the schools are run differently and operated by First Nation communities, but funded by the federal government, whereas in the province, they're funded and run through the province, right? Mm-hmm. So what the Chiefs in Assembly say is that we have jurisdiction over the education of our children regardless of where they reside. So whether they're residing in downtown Toronto and attending a school in the Toronto District School Board, or whether they're residing within their community and going to a community First Nation operated school, we have jurisdiction over the education of those students, those learners. So when you look at that, it's so broad. All of the things that we do here at the Chiefs of Ontario, we work with the provincial government on the learners that attend the provincial system. So that's the Ministry of Education, the Ministry of Advanced Education and Skills Development for post-secondary education. Also, the early years is with the Ministry of Education as well. And the main goal for First Nations is really, we want increased control. So we want to increase the control until we have full jurisdiction over education. But we know that just all of a sudden flipping a switch and having full jurisdiction is not going to work because of all of the oppression of so many years of having to follow this, these guidelines, and you can only use your funding for this. We're saying that we need to, and when I say we, it's the Chiefs in Assembly, they're really saying that we need to close this funding gap before we can actually address a lot of the other issues and concerns, right? We have First Nation schools in Ontario, especially in some of the northern and remote communities that are dilapidated. They're infested with rats and snakes sometimes. They're full of mold. They don't have gyms. They don't have libraries. So there's a lot of catch-up that has to take place. Yeah. We're working incrementally with the federal government to ensure that these things are addressed. And slowly it's happening. And what we see right now is that progress is ramping up significantly with favorable federal and provincial governments in place. That can all change on a dime with elections. So, we're really trying to get as much done as we can in the interim, and then hopefully when if and when new governments come in, we'll at least have some solid ground to continue building, whether it's maybe at a slower pace or possibly even a faster pace, right? But we've seen it really pick up in the last few years, both on the provincial side and on the federal side. And it's not perfect. The most challenging thing there is the relationship. It's that relationship between the First Nations and the provincial government, and the relationship between First Nations and the federal government. The relationship has always been paternalistic, and we're trying to move that so that it becomes a partnership. We have to be partners in this work as we do it. We need funding from the federal government. We need the support of the provincial government because it's their system that we're trying to ensure meets the needs of our students. So it's that relationship. That relationship can't be paternalistic anymore. Okay? So it's changing that relationship, which is really the slow part of things. We've made some incremental changes along the way under a paternalistic partnership or relationship, but now moving into more of a partnership relationship is where we're seeing things really ramp up. But there is movement, so I am optimistic that it's all going to happen, but
Thanks.
Yeah.